It's Q1057 and 1035, the Capital Region's classic rock station. I am Hyde, and I'm looking forward to this weekend because there are two great shows coming to the area this weekend. First at the Egg in Albany this Friday night, and then Saturday night at Homer, New York at the Homer Center for the Arts. I am so jazzed for these shows. I will be at both shows, and I'll be in full Renaissance garb, ready to go, and I hope you are too. And I just happen to have Candice Knight and Ritchie Blackmore from Blackmore's Night on my phone right now. Finally, I moved to New York, and I get to see Blackmore's Night. What can I and others expect for our first Blackmore's Night show?
Not a lot. I mean, it's going to be an extremely dull affair, and we make sure of that. And usually Candy will tell a few jokes, which brightens up the day.
You can do some magic tricks, pull something out of a hat, maybe.
That's right.
And,
I'll do. I always wanted to be a conjurer, so from the age of 7, I've been doing conjuring tricks. When I realized I couldn't become a conjurer, I became a musician, a second-rate musician instead.
Not a bad fallback, Ritchie.
Yeah, if that musician thing doesn't work out, you could always take your top hat and your white rabbit and have a whole other career going on.
Definitely.
Ritchie's the complete polar opposite from anybody you would interview that's going to sell their shows and say, you've got to come to our shows, it's going to be amazing. Ritchie's like the complete opposite of any of that. So,
well, what are you inferring?
I think with the Blackmore's Night Show, first of all, it's a family show, so you could bring the little ones, you could bring the parents, the grandparents. Everybody's going to find something in the music that I think they really love. Of course, a lot of the guys have been following Ritchie for many decades, so they know that the Blackmore name means Blackmore brilliance, no matter if he's playing on hurdy-gurdy, electric, or acoustic guitar, and he's going to play a little bit on all of those things.
I also have the police looking into those followers.
They're the stalkers, right? But a lot of those guys are married now. They have, their wives. They love to come to the shows because they like dressing up. They love singing along. The little kids come because Under a Violet Moon is so much fun to get involved with and sing with, and Renaissance Fair, that kind of stuff. And they dress up like little princesses or like Robin Hood. And then the grandparents come because they just like good melodic music. As we all like good melodic music. So we've got a little bit of something for everybody. And we even delved back into Ritchie's history and play some old Deep Purple songs, too. So, but then I'll tell you, honestly, the shows change every night. The set lists change every night. Ritchie couldn't play the same way if he tried. So he plays solos different every night, intros different every night. So even coming to see those two shows, you're going to see something different no matter which show you come to. So it's going to be a fun time.
Well, I'm glad I'll be there then. I've got a front seat. I'll be in my outfit. I'm going to watch the whole thing, make sure everybody's playing the right note.
Well, it always makes it fun when people dress up and they come in garb, like if you're going to a Renaissance fair, because then that allows us to have our own Renaissance fair or costume party wherever we go. And it's perfect because it's right around Halloween time, so no excuse not to be able to find some of this garb out there.
Right.
It absolutely
I remember
is.
when I first came to America, which was before the war, I said, can I have a couple of fried eggs, please? She said, how would you like your eggs? And I said, well, fried. She said, no, well, how do you want them fried? And I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then she said, do you want them the sunny side up? Do you want them coming out in full blue? I said, well, what's sunny side up? I had no idea. I was thrown by these fried eggs. As soon as I got here, I thought, where am I as far as... I have to say that my eggs are sunny side up.
Why are we talking about eggs?
It's very important because we're playing at a place called an egg.
Oh, the egg!
Yes,
I get
the
it.
egg.
I'm sorry.
See the connection.
And
I wonder whether anybody else has that problem, but it did throw me. I had to. Now I say I want them sunny side up. That was a small problem that I got through. First breakfast I ever had.
It was a very entertaining story.
I love this. This is so amazing. Ritchie's just playing 3D chess while the rest of us are playing checkers. Let's talk Shadow of the Moon, 25th anniversary of your debut album. You just released this new set. Comes with vinyl and a documentary. I'm happy to finally have it on vinyl. I want to know how these songs hit you now versus how they did when you first recorded them 25 years ago.
They're still a pain in the ass to play. It depends. The type of songs that you can sit around an open campfire and kind of play. And that was the idea when we first started the whole thing. We thought that the audience would probably consist of maybe 50 or 100 people. Luckily, it's grown, to 65 people. So we now play to, sometimes we'll play to 5,000 people. I don't quite understand why, but it's very intimate music, and it's not something that many other bands would want to be involved with, because it's not a glamorous thing, it's not a show-off thing. And we look at the whole perspective as like we're the minstrels delivering the music to the audience, which is the royalty, unlike a lot of rock and roll, which is kind of the opposite. And the bands think that they're royalty and the audience are just there and they've just paid. But we know sometimes we're very familiar with certain people in the audience because they come to nearly all our shows. We're very honored. The fact that people will even come from Japan or Iceland or wherever. I'll always say to Candy, I said, what are they coming for? We can play quite well. And she'll say that they will say that nobody else does the kind of music that we play. That I find, I suppose, in a way, that's true. I don't think many other bands want to play the way that we play, but we do have a different kind of sound. And most of our music comes from the 1400s and 1500s, the airs that were played in those days. Although we can go back to the 1200s with quite a few songs, like Fires at Midnight, written by King Alphonse of Spain.
But it's not purist music, because we have a 7-piece band and we add a lot of other instrumentation, and we just make it almost songs that people would be able to resonate with today. They don't listen to our song and think automatically, oh, that's purist, medieval music. We just take the ghosts of those songs and we kind of update them.
That's right.
So it's really kind of our fantasy world, which is amazing to be able to do this. It's like a dream job that we've got. But I think going back 25 years and listening to Shadow of the Moon, for me, it's kind of like a scrapbook, like a moment in time as to where we were back then. We found when we revisited them that the songs still stand up today. They're just timeless. There are things that have changed. My voice has gotten a lot stronger because that was the first album that I ever did with Ritchie. And when we put these songs out, we didn't think it would be for the world. We just thought we were doing it just for us. So it was really a true labor of love. And I didn't know that Ritchie had played some of these songs in some of his other bands. I remember when Ritchie was playing with Rainbow in a festival in Sweden, and he ran into Cozy Powell, who he hadn't seen in a really long time. Cozy was playing with Peter Green at that point, and Ritchie had reformed Rainbow in 1996. We recorded Shadow of the Moon, and Cozy heard one of the songs called Renaissance Fair. And Ritchie said to Cozy, do you remember that riff, me playing that riff? So apparently Ritchie had played that song during his time in Rainbow again and again and again until right, Ritchie, isn't that true?
Yeah, the main riff, which was written by Tillman Susato back in 1550. That's what he remembers playing. And I would kind of insist on the band playing these light airs rather than hitting the big heavy riffs sometimes. So he, unlike a lot of heavy rock people, I think he really enjoyed that type of music.
At that point, it wasn't even on CD. It was on tapes. I think it was tapes and CD, and he told us that he was making tapes for all of his friends of the album Shadow of the Moon, and he was distributing them amongst his friends. So, yeah, we miss Cozy. He was great. We just find that the music kind of really stood the test of time, right, Rich?
Yes, I remember, speaking of Cozy, going through the Canadian customs, and I had some vitamin pills, and they took the vitamin pills, and I said, that's just vitamin C. They said, well, we're going to examine it. So off they went, and I'm waiting, and Cozy's got his foot on the conveyor belt, and nobody's taking any notice of him. And he had a gun in his shoe, and the customs official were taking no notice of him whatsoever. But he literally had a gun in his boot. And then they came back later with me and said, yes, it's vitamin C. Be careful. I said, okay. Of course, off we went. But I found it very ironic that he had his foot up on the carousel with a pistol in his sock going through the customs, and nobody took any notice of him.
This is probably way more information than you signed up for, isn't it?
I'm loving it. It works for me.
I go off on tangents.
He loves telling his stories.
Hey, I'm loving this. I'm a Cozy Powell fan. I'm so down for any tangent that we want to go off here together. But I do want to ask this one. Now that we've had Shadow of the Moon 25th anniversary, obviously the next album is Under a Violet Moon. Should we be expecting an Under a Violet Moon 25th anniversary next? Is it too early to talk about that?
Hopefully, I will be in good health to stay around that long. But I'm getting to that stage where every day I wake up, I'm kind of thankful for actually being still alive. I hope so. Next year, we will be doing a small tour of Germany, our favorite place to go, because that's where most of the music comes from that we play, and England. Yes, hopefully we will be around.
Yeah, but Under Violet Moon. As a matter of fact, we just had our producer, Pat Regan, out here. And the funny thing, backstory about Under Violet Moon is that's the only album that we did without Pat being the producer, right? We tried it with a couple of other people. And yeah, so the strange thing about doing songs from so long ago at this point, 25 years, 26, 27 years ago, the first album, Shadow of the Moon, was created on Radar Otari, the Radar 1 system. So for any of those people who know anything about technology back in the day, it's a system that's basically at that point was cutting edge and everybody did albums on it, and now it's a total dinosaur and nobody uses it because everybody's on Pro Tools.
Stop talking about me.
But then Under Violet Moon, half of it was done on analog. So this is where we came in with the problem because 4 of the songs have to be baked and then transferred, and the other ones have to be digital, transferred over. So we're having a bit of a problem with transferring all of that stuff and finding the right places that can do that and keep it, all consolidated and make it one album for a release. So we're still kind of in the works with that. I believe, and this is the inside scoop, we're going to switch ahead and move over to Fires at Midnight because Pat was here uploading everything and transferring everything on his system. So from Fires at Midnight on, those systems are easier to back up at this point. So we're still working on the Under a Violet Moon one, even though chronologically that's the next one up. But I think we're going to fast forward a little bit and do Fires at Midnight until we figure out a good place to get Under Violet Moon backed up and transferred and baked and all the rest of the stuff. And we also want to make sure everybody has some really cool extras there as well. So we found a couple of extra stuff on Fires at Midnight. I just actually re-recorded the vocals on 2 of the tracks for Fires at Midnight. We're shipping everything over to the record company, and I think that's the go. So we're going to fast forward a little bit before we rewind and hit Under Violet Moon.
So the fact that you're talking about baking, are we going to eat these records or what?
I'm going to advise against that. But anytime I tell you not to do something, you do it. So I'll probably just keep my mouth shut, honestly.
Okay.
So we're never going to get an Under a Violet Moon because someone's going to eat the tapes. I understand. Once they're baking, they must smell amazing. I get it.
Yep.
Looking at some of the covers that you all have done over the years, obviously a lot of these songs, like you say, started centuries ago, but you've done some more modern fare, such as songs like Wish You Were Here, one of my personal favorites, as well as the song that made WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley a fan, your cover of Diamonds and Rust. What goes into deciding to cover a song, interpret a song in your Blackmore's Night way?
Well, Mick Foley, the wrestler, he threatened me, so I had to do that. We had to do that song.
I hope you saw the YouTube version of that too, where Mick was actually here. We have a basement bar room, and he was down there. Well, he was singing along with us. Richie was playing the song. He was singing along, right?
Yeah, there are some favorites from the old days, Celluloid Heroes.
Yeah.
And,
so how do you choose the song?
For me, it's the melody. If it has potentially a really good melody, and then I give it to Candy, and if she sings it with some sort of robust way of interpreting it,
you have to put your own spin on it.
Yeah, and then we take it from there. There are some times when I'll have an idea for a song, and Candy will say, no, I really don't like that song. For instance, the couple of the Buddy Holly songs. He was my favorite when I was growing up. He was from the 1500s as well. But sometimes we do clash on certain songs, but not very often.
But it's interesting, the songs that you choose. Like, it's been everything from Lady in Black by Uriah Heep,
Right.
to a Linda Ronstadt song, Long, Long Time, to some Rainbow songs or some Deep Purple songs. I think for us, like Richie said, it has to have a really strong melody, but it also has to be something that we can interpret differently, because there's no point in doing a song that someone else has already done their own style, their own way, and then like doing a second-rate version of what they did great, you know. So we have to find something different that we can add to it or change it a little bit and kind of make it our own while still, you know, paying homage to what came before, right?
That's brilliant, the way that you put that. Incredible.
All right, this Friday at the Egg in Albany, perhaps sunny side up, as Richie said. The show is going to be awesome. And then, of course, Saturday at the Homer Center for the Arts in Homer. These are your two opportunities, only 2 of 3 shows that they're doing at all on this tour to see Blackmore's Night. It's going to be so much fun. Like I said, Homer, I believe that show might be close to sold out. Just check how it's going. And I think the Egg is doing the same as well. Last thing, I guess, anything else that you want us to know before going to a Blackmore's Night? I've got my garb ready to go.
You're good at
Well, what we normally do is we actually pair together. We have this amazing, amazing fan club, and it's really kind of like seeing our family again when we get back on the road. So there's so many fans that have become really close friends of ours. So really tight street team, really tight fan club. And we're so lucky because actually they've done so much work, boots on the pavement there. What we like to do is we like to find local animal charities, and they were so instrumental in doing that. So everywhere we go, they find a local animal charity to bring down to each venue. So we're able to raise awareness, maybe if people can make donations, anything from money or paper towels, or just raise the awareness that these angels on earth that help these animals every day even are around. You know, maybe people could drop something off there, even if it's just supplies or something.
Yeah, I saw that. It looked like the Mohawk Humane Society in Albany, and on Homer, it's the Country Acres Animal Shelter.
We also have a couple of songs that we've already re-recorded for our next album. We've got a brand new video coming out for Christmas Eve, which is coming out. So there's lots of stuff in the pipeline for Blackmore's Night. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you guys and sharing that night with you guys and having a lot of fun. We'll take requests. Well, Richie will pass some beers out to the audience and just come on down.
Well, you can't beat that, can you? I'll be there dressed in my full Renaissance garb at both the Egg in Albany. Make sure you go check that one out. Tickets moving fast for that one. And Homer at the Homer Center for the Arts. That one really, really close to being sold out. So whichever one works for you, or do what I'm doing, hit up both. I will see you there. Thank you so much to Candice Knight and Richie Blackmore of Blackmore's Night for talking with me today. And we got the scoop. Fires at Midnight is the next anniversary edition coming out. Oh, I can't wait to have it on vinyl. It's Q1057 and 1035, the Capital Region's classic rock station.